The Democrats have protected pharma. Democrats could have done this a long time ago. They have fought like hell for the drug companies, and they knew they were doing the wrong thing. The Democrats are the ones that allowed this to happen. They were the ones that were the protector of this pricing system.
Is that true? Let's bring in James Carville. James,
how you doing?
What do you make of that suggestion? What do you make of the suggestion that we would have had lower drug prices except for you people?
It's all vapor. So what happens? He's going to do green. We all go crazy. He's going to do the Panama Canal. We all go crazy. He's going to do Canada. We all go crazy. Nothing happens. Then you had the greatest capitulation in trade negotiations, maybe in the history of the world, in Geneva yesterday. So what does he do? He talks to some guy in London. I think you and I know the guy, but forget, I'm not going to mention his name on here. And he says, I'm just going to do this. It's not even thought out. There's nothing behind it. And we're going to get distracted, and we're going to have a panel, and people are going to call me and say, can you do the weekend show? And we talk about prescription drug pricing. It is vapor. It is all vapor, Chris. It means nothing. And Kevin McCarthy was talking about China didn't do anything. They just sat there, and we just said, excuse me, please, sir, can we just make up with you? It was unbelievable, and he does that every time. He didn't even know he was going to do this yesterday until he gets up in the morning, and he gets a phone call. So I'll just do this. This sounds good. It posed well. It's all vapor, just total vapor.
Two things from vapor to solid. One, he signed the executive order that at least outlines and puts people in positions to pressure companies and other countries to do differently than they do now. And we do pay a lot more than other countries. And China did agree, at least on paper, at least for this moment, to allow access to our markets, to their markets that they haven't yet.
It's all nothing. He took the tariffs away. It's going to be 185%, or it was going to be something like that. And we chased this. He's not going to have any follow-up on this. He was president from 17 through the January of 19. He had both houses of Congress. He did nothing. He's going to do nothing on this. If we're going to treat it like it's some kind of a serious discussion, and it's nothing. He's not going to annex Greenland. He's not going to annex Canada. He's not going to take over the Panama Canal. He's not going to go into a trade war with China. He's not going to do anything about it. And the sooner people realize that, now what the Congress can do, I'll give you my suggestion. Pass a law that says the ethics that apply to an air traffic controller, a food inspector, or park ranger applies to the President of the United States. The corruption that's going on. He's talking about Medicare. He's taking a $400 million jet for lifetime use from a foreign government. He's selling places at a White House dinner for people that buy his meme coin, which goes right into his pocket. And that's what the tragedy is. That's what the Democrats need to do. They need to jump on this corruption and never get off of it.
So James is referring to the fact that everyone in government except the president and vice president are subject to these ethics and conflict laws. And the president and the vice president don't apply. And there's a whole tortured political explanation for that about encroaching on different branches of government and whatnot. That's his suggestion. But on the what he can do side, and what he is doing is he's at least pushing the ball of doing something about drug prices. We'll see what Congress does about it. On the Medicaid side, they are pitching something that you guys did during your tenure with Clinton. Well, he's certainly right about drug prices. Are they right about work requirements for Medicaid?
He's right about work. So now it's, oh, no, we just saying a able-bodied person, because you went through, and you and I both know when people are taking care of an infirm parent or taking care of children, that's work. I got news for you. My sister took care of my mother for 5 years, and I was traveling, gallivanting around the country giving speeches. I wasn't working. They were working. And the idea that these people don't work is insane. And look, if they want to do something, they have right now, the proposal they have, according to the CBO, is going to knock 8.6 million people off of health insurance. This is why, while he's having dinner at the White House, rewarding people or giving them money, taking airplanes, knocking 8.6 million people off of health insurance. If the Democrats can't message against that, then they ought to just blow themselves up. But I think they can.
Well, I'm fine with the messaging about that. I would not go down the corruption road, though. That
I'll go
road
right
got them
down.
where they are. I don't think
I
it
would
where it
never
gets them
get
where they
off
want to
of
be.
I'd never get off the corruption road. And it's not going to stop. It's going to keep, we're going to keep every day, we're going to find out more and more and more. That's what I really believe. And I think we ought to play right into, give me the reason why a food inspector has a more stringent code of ethics than the president of the United States. Why does a third grader have to listen when the teacher tells him something, but the president doesn't have to listen to anybody? Use everyday examples to say no person in this country is above the law or above ethics. Every president to this put the assets in a blind trust. Everyone. Everyone till this one. And you know that, and I know that. By the way, I'll tell you one time who the guy that called him for London is, and you know him, I promise you.
I think I know. But let me keep my job tonight. James Carville, thank you very much. I appreciate you as always.
You bet. You bet. Okay, Chris. Good to talk to you.
Take care. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.